It's about to go with Gabriel section, and in this module we are going to be talking about 2D transform, so two-dimensional transform. So this is just the transform, and let's just go ahead and dive right in. So to make this easier, so I'm just going to create another folder. Just going to name it to 2D like that, just 2D. Then I'm going to, okay, let's close this up. I don't want to have two windows open up. Just going to open fire up Visual Studio Code. Under as usual, index.html, we need a CSS folder, and we need the style.css. Okay, so oh my god, I need this back. Good. So with the HTML5, then before we forget again, we need to link up into our style sheets and give it the reference. So we want to go to CSS style.css. This is good. So let's just go ahead and create a div. I'm get with a class of box, and just want to pick up this div with a class of box, width of 200 pixels, height of the same, height of 200 pixels, background color fire bricks, and let's fire up this in the browser. Okay, this is all good. So when we talk about 2D in CSS, it's actually unusual. It comes with transform property. So this is how to just use it. We can use transform. Oh my god, what do I do? Transform, yeah. So by declaring this transform property, you can see we have lots of this method or function that is actually there for us to use. We have translate, we have translate z, translate y, we have skew, we have scale, we have particular some kind of perspective, we have rotate, we have some other kind of that. So what we are actually mostly going to be concerned about is rotate. Rotate is very important, so we need the angle in degree. And another thing we are going to be very concerned about, skew. So we can skew, we want the skew on x-axis, y-axis. Then those are the two that are very important. So the others are also important, but those are the core ones that you need to know: skew, scale, and let's just go ahead and pick up the first one, which is rotate. So when we are using rotate actually deals with how do you want to rotate this box, how do you want to go in degree. So rotate actually works in degree. So we can say I want to go 30 deg. Oh my god, 30 deg, so which is 30 degree like that. And if I refresh this, you can see this box. Oh my, how can I put this box in the center? Let me see if I can use text align. That's not just good. Okay, I can automatically place the whole body into the center instead of just hanging right there. Width of 50%, margin of auto. Okay, like that. So I I found my way to put it right there. So this needs to have a margin from top of probably 100 pixels. So this is just its now. So when we actually give it, we ask the box to rotate, to go ahead and rotate 30 degree, so it's go ahead and maintain the 30 degree. We can also rotate it to be 90 degree. So 90 degrees is actually going to be straight, because we all know that like 90 degrees that. So 180 degree of 180 it's still going to be straight to 130. We want 45 degree, so it's going to bend like that. So that is how it actually works when we start to use transform to rotate stuffs like that. So we have transform on y-axis, so which is just only on our y-axis, transform for 45 degree, and you can see it's only maintaining these on the y-axis. So same thing, we can have x on x-axis too, so it's actually rotating these on the x-axis now. So that is why it's having this like that. So how do you know this is actually working the way you want it to be? So this is the normal position of the box. So when you say transform on the y-axis, which means instead of it to go this side, so take yourself from this side and flip yourself over to the y-axis, to the axis of y. So it's flipping itself up to the axis of y. So as it's standing right here, so it's going to try to flip itself up on y-axis. Its x-axis is going to try to split itself over right to the x-axis, and that is what is happening right there. So we have like that. So we have z-axis. So z-axis is actually the third axis that we have in trigonometry, which is I think geometry and trigonometry, which is all those dimensions in mathematics. That's what we have. So the z-axis is actually the alternate axis, like the comparison of both the x and y axis that are bending to a particular dimensions, so to a particular flow of constant. So that is how we have the 2G and 3G transform and translate. So let's just use like scale and scale. So another thing I didn't show you is that rotate can take three arguments, like 30 deg. So what do you mean by from x and y? So just do that, and that is what it's actually doing. So this rotate is mostly used for 3G transform, because what we are doing is actually a 3G transform, and mostly if you actually want to be centered on our 2D transform, you need the scale value, like that. So what is actually just, I don't know, do you take pixels or angle? Because let's try something smaller. Oh my word. A two-dimensional transform is applied to an element through the transform property. The property contains a list of functions similar to those allowed the XPG. That's not what we want. Let's say scale on x. Is it using angle? Maybe it's using degree. Sorry, deg. Okay, so this is actually another kind of a value that allows you to scale up an element or a box. You can see how this one is actually transforming and translate. Let's just put it on normal dimensions before I go into explaining stuff. So this is the same thing, x axis, so y axis like that, and the third one should be z. So this is actually scaling. Instead of these the 3G transform to be going up, right, this one is actually bending in the x-axis. So anything we are doing is trying to bending in the x-axis, in the z-axis like that. So that is why we actually call it a 2G two-dimensional transform like that. Oh my god, my battery is running low. So let me just rush this tutorial. So that is why you can also use this is XY, and if you don't want to use it like that, you can just clear it off. Decide to use like Z, sorry, like Y, X, like that. So that is all you actually need to know about there. Let's just check upscale. So scaling is actually something like okay, what kind of scale do I want this particular box to maintain? So you can see it's just filling up the whole page, obviously. So scale can also be on y-axis. So this is it. So it's scaling up on y-axis, and also it can be on z x-axis too. So it's a big scaling up on x-axis like there. So that is how scaling actually works. So scale means that okay, what is kind of scale are you maintaining? Are you maintaining it on x-axis or y-axis? And you can see it's actually floating up the whole page. So that is the where I need you to understand about two dimensions of moving box, or you call it 2D transform.